Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for the segment, we have Jeff Taylor, co-founder of Mphasis Digital Risk, the nation's largest provider of mortgage risk compliance and transaction management technology. Jeff, it's great to see you again. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Thank you so much for having me, Jill.
You got it. And what are the top three things borrowers need to know or do to get their forbearance in order? Even though the deadline has passed, there are still more than 1 million borrowers in forbearance and need to know what to do to successfully exit and modify their loans.
Yeah, it's a great question, right? So the exit has passed for those who got in March, but there's still many people, over a couple million, that are still going to be going through forbearance. Number one, communicate with your servicer. 16% of borrowers right now are opting out of forbearance without really having a plan in place. That's a recipe that issues down the road. So communicate with your servicer. Secondly, have your information intact. So when you call your servicer and talk about your forbearance or options to have out, have your income, have your employment, really make a sheet for yourself, letting yourself know, where am I, what can I afford to do going forward? And 3 is ask questions about all the different programs out there that are available for exiting forbearance. And there's a plethora of them, whether it's adding on months to the end of a mortgage or years or paying partially back. There's all types of different programs that will work right now. But again, it's communication. The one thing that I would emphasize right now is people do need to be proactive. Don't wait for the servicer to call you. Call your servicer. You know your timelines. You know when your 18 months are up. There's a tremendous amount of ways to be helped. You can help yourself, but take the initiative, get yourself organized, call your servicers. That's going to be the best outcome.
And your firm took a big undertaking to gauge the national sentiment of prospective home buyers in a recent 2,100-person survey. Some believe that mortgage payments are getting more and more unaffordable, and this will affect the purchase market. What are your thoughts around that?
So if you look over the last 12 months, right, home prices are up nationally about 20%. So obviously, if you're coming into the mortgage market right now trying to buy a house, you have the tightest inventory we've ever seen. While interest rates are still at all-time lows, the affordability factor is really becoming the issue. So that's the sentiment of like, oh, did I miss it? Am I a little bit too late? So they really need to be patient and buy time to make sure that they can afford the house that they're going to buy, or rent until that time comes along when they can buy the right house. The second sentiment is people are really concerned about rates rising. I don't think rates are going to really rise, in the course of the next 12 months. But what you will see is the Fed start to taper. And the first thing it'll probably start to taper is the mortgage-backed securities they're buying. So that will inherently have mortgage rates, those are directly correlated, have mortgage rates go up a little bit. So it will get more expensive. But as a consumer, you got to figure out, where are you in your life? What can you really afford into a monthly payment, and make those decisions.
Well, Jeff, you had spoken about really tight inventory before. So my question to you is, do you have any tips for winning a bidding war to make sure your offer is accepted right away? We really don't have the time to kind of shop around in today's market, as you're well aware of.
You do. And in many markets, cash offers at all price points are winning it. So if you're going to have a mortgage, here's what you do. Not only do you get a pre-approval letter, but get verification of your income and your assets and your credit scores. When you can go to make your offer with a package where all that information is verified versus an instant application that said you're pre-approved, but the diligence hasn't been done, you can give a lot more assurance to the person that you're looking to buy their house that they verified all the work, versus going 15, 30 days later, and all of a sudden the deal falls apart because the bank backed out for some reason. So the more that you come and actually offer to give your bank this information, they may say, look, we don't need it right now. Here's your pre-approval letter. I said, no, let me go through this. Here's my credit score, what they have, income, assets, employment. So you can walk in and make your offer. That's going to be the closest thing that you can do to putting yourself on par with a cash offer.
All right, Jeff, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.